Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to another Just 5 Mins. Another one, you say? Well, depending on your position, unfortunately so. So agents, more agents, but are you actually doing something useful with those agents? I know it's just so much overload with AI generally. I mean, as of the time of this recording, I do believe OpenAI have just released a whole upgrade, a raft of new things. So obviously there's ChatGPT 5 Pro and all this type of stuff, but they've now got Agent Builder that looks quite a lot like N8N and Zapier, and there's already loads of YouTubes going, oh, it's a Zapier killer and this, that, and the other. Well, it could be, but it's early stages to start with. But the interface certainly looks more like what you would do with things like N8N and stuff. The only thing is that it's not even, it's all flavors of ice cream, isn't it? But it's almost like what happened with Facebook and the likes like that, where everything becomes walled gardened around in their environment. I know that's probably very untrue actually, because I haven't looked into it enough yet, but it feels like you can build these agents, and ultimately I think by the looks of it it's a bit like the GPTs, where you can have like a marketplace for these things. I think they're going down that route where you can build these agents but potentially then get them reviewed by OpenAI and then potentially sold, so you've got to look at it if life serves you lemons and you want to go and build agents and stuff. They've got the concept of connectors, which sounds really interesting. They've got some of the big players already, but you can sort of see where that's going. And also they've got like a widget builder that you can build stuff as well. So it's all really quite interesting on one angle. But I think people say, oh, it's going to take over Zapier and N8N and Make and everything. Well, there's always going to be use cases. And the thing I like about N8N is that you can self-host if you need to in your environment. You can use, lots of different models if you wish. Obviously, the OpenAI one is using GPT, GPT-5 and all that sort of stuff. And there's probably lots of other avenues there as well. And there's no one, great sort of like leap really in a lot of ways. But it does look very easy, I have to say, the OpenAI agent builder, to be honest. But N8N, again, has got a lot more flexibility, I think. And you can host that, you can have it hosted and not worry about it. Or like I say, you can self-host. So there's always the sort of avenues that will be open for all these other platforms for sure, as it always is. But also the other thing I come across, and it's only from about April this year, 2025 that is. So Google released A2A, or sometimes called agent to agent, and where MCP, Model Context Protocol, sort of handles the vertical side, as it were, giving an agent structured access to tools, external data, capabilities, and all of that sort of stuff. Google, it's been like a bit of a slow burn. It's early stages still, but they've got A2A, which is handling more of the horizontal side, i.e. letting multiple agents interact, coordinate, and delegate tasks. So I think where MCP has been, hey, we can connect to all of these tools. We've got a standard for these LLMs to talk to all of these types of tools and data. Google I don't think they wanted to miss out on all these protocols, basically. They've got this A2A, agent to agent. So it's handling stuff like, authentication, authorisation, a standard way of communicating between agents. So again, MCP is talking to tools and all of those things. whereas A2A is actually the coordination between agents and the, again, authorization. And really, it's again, unless you're doing this for, a small personal hobby or something like that, it's like building agents. Unless you're doing that for really your own benefit, you soon run into things where you've certainly got to think of security and all the good stuff with any even small businesses to enterprises. So A2A is a new one to watch to see where that one's going. But it does, like I say, it's a good visualization, really. MCP is like the vertical, one agent can have all these MCP tool accesses. But if an agent needs to talk to another agent, I think that's what Google are trying to do with the A2A. They're trying to standardize or give some standard approach to these agents communicating with each other. So yeah, they're using a lot of standards like, where was it? It's like the JSON is it RCP? Crikey, I had it in front of me. I did make a note of that for that pure reason. Anyway, but structured sort of JSON capabilities to talk to each agent. So again, one agent can declare, this is what I've got, this is my authentication scheme, and the calling agent knows what to pass through. So it is that sort of like horizontal versus vertical connection there. So I think, and it's really like in a lot of ways, it's like microservices repeating itself in a way. You've got a microservice that will do all these functions and talk to these services, but you might have RPC or gRPC or whatever your flavor of connecting those microservices together. So I think that's what Google are trying to jump on board with A2A to try to standardize that communication. So yeah, but that's what I've got this time around. There's a lot of new stuff. Crikey, maybe there's a weekend ramble coming up because the Anthropic have released loads of updates. Their Claude SDK that you can run locally, so you've got local MCP access with SDDIO, standard IO, and all that type of stuff. So there's some really big stuff that's been happening, whether we want it or not, you could say. But anyway, that is what I've got for this time around. Wherever you are, I hope you're having a good day, a good week, and we'll catch you on the next one.